So we begin the 101st session of the Roses Are Red campaign. We rejoin the Roses just northish of the Fremont estate in the city or township of Yeldrum, just outside the township of Yeldrum, where they had just successfully destroyed an otherworldly entity that Largo described as a color out of space. After preparing for the arrival of some sort of horrific end to the Fremonts, building a bunker in the side of a hill, and then waiting out whatever ill omen might befall the Fremont estate, you saw a piece or something fall off of the Duskbringer comet as it blasted overhead and it landed in a nearby wooded space. Going to investigate, there was a strange light, a strange ball of energy that seemed to feed off of all life around it. It took you guys a little while to figure out what you could do that would be effective against this ball of energy, as most of your attacks seemed to do little, if any, damage. But eventually Largo figured out that force was the way to destroy this thing. Between Largo's myriad of force effects and Mirok repeatedly blade barriering the fuck out of it, you did successfully destroy this entity and remove the threat on the Fremont household. In the process, something happened to Uhtred, and he had to be restrained or occupied until Mirok could successfully restore the damage that the color had done to him, changing fundamentally who he was and how he saw the universe. And in doing so, returned Uhtred back to his previous state of fundamentally not understanding the nature of the universe. And then, a couple more heal spells and whatnot to return the skin to Bort's arm and keep Yanni from the brink of destruction at Uhtred's hands. Now you stand in this wooded space that has been blighted ashen white, and still around you can see that the trees, the leaves, the grass are slowly disintegrating as all the life energy has been sucked out of them by this otherworldly presence. And in this melancholy beauty, just everything is disintegrating and ash is falling like snow around you. But, I'm sure that for Yanni, looking around and seeing the absolute blight that this thing caused to what appears to be several acres of forest was probably what was destined to befall his family. And it sends a shiver up his spine at the thought.
Yeah. I'm glad that we took the threat seriously, and I'm glad that the Roses helped me with that endeavor. Even though, Uhtred, you weren't so much a help as a hindrance, but
that wasn't my fault, though.
Kind of was, maybe.
I couldn't pass the will save.
Yeah, for Uhtred, you can remember just like this moment of darkness, and then as some sort of sense returned to you, looking around and seeing anything that cast a aura of life from it was just anathema to you, and it needed to be destroyed. And you don't know where that thought or where that intent came from, It was overpowering, and you had to destroy Yanni. There was no question.
And I would have.
Did you say?
Didn't we already try that? Didn't you guys fight once?
We did a sparring session.
Yeah.
I think things might go a little differently now.
There's natural light.
Might get one.
Or no, then no.
Well, Yanni, what do you wanna do, man?
Yeah,
Okay, so I guess we need to. I guess I would like to make sure that we're good, right? Like this area isn't harmful to anyone or anything, right? I get that sense, but Mirok, you're the life person.
like radiation.
Yeah, is there any after effects from this that could be, no bueno? I don't want my family getting thyroid cancer from years of exposure to this area.
I mean, I could roll for knowledge planes, but I don't have anything super relevant to plants.
That's cool, as long as
knowledge nature.
If only I had a guy that had knowledge nature.
Yes, he does. He does? Yeah.
Oh.
You do have a guy.
Nature and geography. Add 10 to your roll, Glenn.
I will.
Do I have nature? I can't remember.
Well, it doesn't matter. This is my
Yes.
I have nature, but yours is probably better.
Yeah.
What about today?
We just have survival. That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, mine's a 9.
All right. And add 10.
Yeah.
It's probably a natural 20. I like to do a green one for nature.
Yeah, makes sense.
30.
30. Okay. Uhtred, you kind of examine the surroundings. The grab a handful of earth that seems to have suffered something similar to the way the foliage, the organic matter, even the earth seems to have any sort of organic microbes, anything in it. The earth is dead. And tasting the ash on the tip of your tongue, you realize that it's worse than dead. It is blighted, and anything in this area is basically going to be poisoned, probably for some time before nature rights itself.
Can we do a controlled burn to try to? I don't know.
I think we
I don't
just
want this to spread.
Yeah, I think we just let the people know.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, don't come over here.
I mean, basically, what it is lightly irradiated. The entire area is low levels of radiation.
Okay, so we should probably fuck out of here eventually. Just standing here forever.
Well, I mean, it's not something where you don't want us to build a house here.
Yeah.
Thing through, it's like the forests of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Visiting is okay. Spending any significant amount of time or trying to grow food here or anything, bad idea.
Or dig a trench.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Uhtred says that, and Mirok says we should leave and go alert Yanni and the people of Yeldarin.
And as a player too, Dan, with Mirok's power, would he kind of already sense if that area was hurting us?
It's not hurting you. It's something where if you spent a week here, start to take damage to your constitution, maybe your strength, something like that.
So, yeah.
Low grade. It's not something that's happening fast or immediate enough for Mirok to sense it right away.
Right.
We call it the Fremont no-no zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fremont exclusion zone. The Feds.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I guess let my family know we've dealt with a threat. There is a bit of unusable land as some collateral damage there, and I wanted to talk to Largo about this, but he's not here, so maybe we just not do this. I don't know, but I wanted to ask him to send to my potential future in-laws and let them know what happened. I told them I would do as such before we abruptly left.
Okay. I guess in this instance, I will say that Largo hesitates in that this seems to be a part of what's going on with the Duskbringer comet, and maybe he wants to wait until you have a more complete concept.
It works.
Because this was a small thing that fell off. The rest of the comet continued sailing into the south, and you still have very little idea of what that, if.
Yeah, I think all we know is that one of these colors out of space did not land near Solomon. That's pretty much all we know.
As far as
That guy's
Alorn has reported, yeah, there's no other sightings.
And by what we had, projected or had done, had the nerds had projected, impact should have occurred by now. Okay. So yeah, I think we tell my family and just get the hell out of here and go see what's going on at South Pole.
Okay. So, I guess Largo can probably just teleport you over there.
Not to the South Pole,
Or
right?
you just a cave.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Yelms Deep?
Yelms Deep on the dawn of the 5th day.
Look like I mean.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you just summon some more mounts and you head on over in that direction. It is a significant journey because you wanted to get the people as far out of harm's way as possible. So it's you reach the area as night begins to fall. The fight happened right around noon.
Oh man. As we get there to the bunker, Eric waves Yanni over and he whispers in your ear. I mean, if you've been over, he whispers in your ear. And he says, like, you go in first. It's your people. But what Aaron's envisioning is like Aragorn when he pushes the doors open, in the second movie, like, it's you. This is your time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, just fucking slunk kick the door open. She's like, it's all clear. It's all clear. The big magic goo is dead.
Just like Aragorn did it. Exactly. Like
I got a 7 charisma.
Wasn't as nearly as poetic. He just walked in quietly. He didn't say anything.
Yeah. Hold on.
And as soon as you come in, your mother rushes to you and hugs you, and your family comes and surrounds you, and there, lots of questions, lots of, what was it? What, was there danger? Was there, actually, let me retcon here just a little bit. As you guys are riding to the bunker, the ground shakes.
Okay.
And there's a sound like the loudest crack of thunder you've ever heard.
Ooh.
And then, after maybe 20 or 30 seconds, the rumble in the ground passes, and only the distant echo of that crack of thunder just echoes off into the distance. Yanni, give me a knowledge engineering check.
God.
Another sandworm.
Is that plus 10 still up?
No.
Not at this point, no.
Okay. Still had a good roll. 28.
28. You have enough book learning, and basically I'm using knowledge engineering as a stand-in for rudimentary physics, that you know that sound travels at a certain speed. And based on some of the, what do you call it? Calculations from the astronomers at the Heron's Eye Observatory and Uhtred's geography, you feel like this probably makes sense that the impact was far enough away that it would take, a couple hours for the sound of that impact to reach you guys.
So we just heard the impact of the meteor, comet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not a purple one.
Not a purple one.
Yeah. And, similarly, the shock waves travel through the surface of the planet at about the same speed. So, give or take. I don't want to I believe the shock wave will travel through the ground faster by.
Depends on the composition of the core.
Yeah.
Or if there is a core
Or if
left.
there is a core.
Yeah, we don't know.
At least the crust is fairly porous. There's a lot of empty space.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something that happens on the way, and then you get to the bunker, and that's also a question that they ask you there. What was that? Did that destroy the manor house? Was what what was going on? And
Yeah. Okay.
lots of questions, but a lot of relief just to see that you're still alive and that the roses are red are still with you.
Yeah. So I would go over, in not great detail. I would leave that for someone like Alexa Largo of the battle, or Uhtred, since he was so heavily involved and remembers it so clearly.
Good call.
But yeah, I would really, I don't know, talk up my friends. This wasn't possible without the help of these mighty heroes.
I'm just sculpting the walls of Yelm's Deep. I'm like, this is a shoddy first pass. I'm just...
You've got some spell slots left.
I do, yeah. Definitely at that level.
Most of your high levels are spent, right?
Oh yeah. In that fight, yeah. The amount of times it gets played
Dan, totally probably not going to work, but with my knowledge geography, if I rolled like a natural 20, could I explain to Largo where that vibration came from and have him teleport us there and use an action? That's kind of a thing, right?
That's pretty cool.
The concept of teleport is you do have to have like a sort of direct understanding of the location. Like the worst version of it is see it once.
Yeah. I just was asked.
What if I told Largo it's probably really cold there? Would that help any?
I haven't seen it. They're in Iowa.
Let me just see one thing.
Some folks call it heaven. I like to call it Iowa.
If you don't got crab legs, I'm not going.
Not a single crab leg.
Yeah.
There's restaurants here that do.
All that corn-fed crap. I want a crab that's never seen the ocean, just lived in a tank. In Des Moines.
Not to get off subject, as a matter of fact, all crabs are flash frozen at sea.
That's all I want. I want live raised crab from Iowa.
Yeah,
So,
you need to get.
Largo in very explicit detail tells you how the version of teleport he has is something of a lesser version, and it requires that he has, personally witnessed whether physically or via scrying or some other manifestation, the location that he needs to teleport to. There is a more powerful version of the teleport spell, which he does not need that. And in the case that he was using that spell, your description would be sufficient for the teleport to reach that location, but he does not have that spell. And he probably will not have that spell.
Fair enough.
I was just asking. I thought it trying to use.
That's good. Yeah.
No, it's if he took that spell, absolutely.
He does have some scrolls of scrying now, right?
Yes,
That only works on living things, right?
correct.
Okay.
Don't know what this thing is.
I think we're just gonna have to hoof it, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to make our way back to the Gation Isle. The question is, do we go to Kyla? Do we go to Solomon? Do we go to Cass, which is probably the closest place to where this impact occurred?
What place do we think we could go to that we could maybe find a scroll or something of, I don't know, transportation that we buy? That, like would it be a dimension door type thing? Or
Do you mean like buy a scroll of that spell?
yes, of that. Well,
about?
yeah, or that spell, or of like someone that we can buy to send us there, like a big enough city.
I think at that kind of level, it's not about a big enough city. It's about who do we know that's this powerful of a magic user.
Yeah, if you know someone who's that powerful, it would be Aelor.
That's the only.
Largo does say that he doesn't know the limits of the Nokiri Empress's gate rod.
I mean, do we think we're at the place where we can ask a favor?
He's not suggesting that he's just saying, like, out of everything he is aware of, the only two options he sees as possibly being able to traverse that distance would either be Aelorn or that rod.
Yeah, I've been inclined to go to Solomon. I was from the jump kind of inclined because Aelorn is one of the most knowledgeable magic users we know, and the comet passed very, very close to there, so we can maybe get a better sense. Because just because he didn't see something doesn't mean there isn't something in the woods.
Is this Mirok saying this because Uhtred would be like, all right?
Yeah. Mirok he's like, we need to go back to. I think he says we need to go back to Solomon because Kylo was far away. He knows his family's safe. Solomon was right there, and also has this really powerful guy that might help us. Because we could go to class and be like, did you hear that? And all the dwarves on the ground would be like, you're fucking what, dude? The wall shook a little bit.
You also, not nearly as directly overhead as Yeldarim and, Solomon. And like Cass, it was almost directly overhead. Mm-hmm. But it did pass in a decent, in a relatively short distance from over Tarnholm as well.
All right. Yeah, that would trump that. I would want to go to Tarnholm.
You want to check on the town? That makes sense. Let's go to Tarnholm.
Yeah. Check on his people. Yeah, I think that's the move.
Yeah, it actually probably passed closer to over Tarnholm than it did over Solomon.
Oh, really? Okay. So I think we maybe, if Largo can teleport us, with his current spell slots, I would say let's teleport to Tarnholm and then we'll rest there.
Yeah, teleport is just a 5th level spell. I'm sure he's got.
One thing we just spoke about amongst ourselves.
Just thought about as a character.
Something that Bort probably would have done was took some of that ash, radioactive ash that we told him was dangerous. It just seems like a Bort thing, if you guys agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it was explained like, no, dude, like prolonged exposure to this will kill you, Bort would probably think like, oh, I can just put this in some guy's like.
Yeah,
I'll just
Fill up. Yeah. Some Novichok.
I know he's not here, but just a thought.
Seems like a Bort thing.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay.
He's just gonna look like shit in like 3 weeks, and you're gonna like,
What's wrong with you? Nothing.
He has a vile ass.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely. Yeah, he would hear poison and think, oh, yeah, cool.
yeah.
And not really understand that this poison is not so much what you eat, but just have to be in vicinity of it.
Yeah, he's not very smart, is he?
Not very.
No, he's pretty dumb.
I think he's actually the dumbest of all of them. Yeah.
Heavy as the heavy.
My God, he's evil.
Sweet Lord, he loves to do evil.
Yeah. And we love him for it.
What'd you do today, Bort? Oh, I stabbed a guy in an alley. That's great, Bort. Wipe your shoes.
Okay, so yeah, is this something that you want to do immediately and go to Tarnholm, or you want to try to help Johnny's family and the Eldarum people get back? I mean, that's going to take some time. Since it's already late, they kind of want to just spend the night where they are. They don't want to travel in the night,
Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
guards.
I mean, I'm probably gonna hang out with my family. You do whatever you want. You know which way Tarnholm is. You can take off. We'll catch you.
Yeah. I can come back and collect people tomorrow.
That's true, yeah. Mirek would want to go like right away, but yeah, I think if some people stay behind to shepherd people back to the Eldarum, that's not a bad idea, and then Largo will pick them up tomorrow.
Okay. So aside from Largo, who has to go, and Mirok, who wants to go, does anybody else want to go? I totally see Bort wanting to hang out and schmooze.
Here in Eldarum, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, maybe some pockets to pick, or
Uhtred, where do you want to be?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I was probably heading. I'm like, they have guards, they have people to shuttle them back. Like with this care package mission's over.
Cool. All right, so me, Uhtred,
and Largo.
okay, and then Bort, Giannis. Okay, yeah, that works.
Well, those are good people to stay for, though. That works out.
Mm-hmm. Your wife and child are also in Tarnholm too. Let's see.
Yeah, you might want to your wife and child.
Wife, child, unborn child.
Yeah, your pregnant wife and your.
Dog's with him.
Oh, then yeah, Otis
Dog's
is
with you
coming
guys.
with us. Yeah.
So yeah.
We're trying to save the world. I don't need to see my wife and unborn child. I need to save the world.
How selfless of you.
They are your world, Uhtred.
Huh?
They are your world.
No.
No, I think we are the world. We are the children.
All right.
Hands across America.
What?
I was doing a hands across America joke. We are the world. We are the children.
All right. Largo successfully teleports you all back to Tarnholm, and Uhtred, give me a perception check.
Ooh, there's a 32.
Okay. So you arrive in Tarnholm. Largo probably drops you guys right in front of Ansam's, the orphanage.
Take them with you.
That's Largo.
Yeah.
We'll ride.
Mirok, even though it's late, you can hear like some of the voices of people outside talking to each other.
Yeah.
Since you have limited range of vision.
Mm.
But you can hear like this tenseness, you know, a couple of hours ago, the ground shook, the sky quaked, you know, and a couple of hours before that, green fire struck across the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can hear that there is this sort of tenseness and concern and trepidation amongst people of your settlement. Uhtred, you see beyond the lights coming from the houses, the windows, the buildings. Your house is not far from here, and you can actually see Thesnelda and Siffy standing out in front of the house talking to one of the neighbors. They haven't noticed you yet. But then looking back towards the city proper, you see tons of torchlights. You see way more activity than you've ever seen in this town before. There are tents. There are shacks and different things like attached to. There are a bunch of people camping out in front of the empty minecart. There are a lot of people in town.
Their houses got destroyed.
Well, look, all the houses are there.
Yeah, if you point that out to me, Mirok's going to go over and check that out.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about it, but I thought maybe the trimmer or like the rumbling underneath is why they were there. That was my assumption. But yeah, we got to check on them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't know what that means.
I think that's what I thought.
Oh, that's cool.
They're not homeless, but
Well, I mean, yeah, they are homeless. They don't have homes.
well, we'll see.
But Mirok's going to make them.
Yeah, Otis heads over to, Thesnelda. He heads off to your house.
All right.
And are you, and then Mirok and Largo are kind of going the opposite direction. Are you going to go see your family, or are you going to go with Mirok and Largo?
I want to play. Uhtred would go check on. He would go check on his family with Otis at that time.
He's probably bitching about it under his breath the whole time.
I mean, I think he's more just thinking like, "Oh, this will take like 2 seconds." Y'all good? Okay.
All right. So you head over to talk to your family, and Mirok and Largo, you guys head towards the city center, towards the town hall. As you do, Mirok, you start to hear people like calling your name. It's like, oh, Mayor's here, Mirok. Mayor Slatebelt. Not everyone has realized you're Dawnhammer yet.
It's fine.
And it turns into like a chorus of voices, calling out your name, and then you hear the healer. Then you hear, oh, they're restoring stone, and then you quickly begin to realize
He made it cold.
there's a lot of people here for me.
Oh, he made it cold.
Yeah, it's all the people who were showing up at my house have been gone a little while. Okay. Well, that's
You have become famous by word of mouth as the person who can heal all wounds. You can regenerate lost limbs. You can bring the dead back to life. That is quite a reputation, to carry. And you are very quickly swamped by several dozen people, all kind of shouting over each other.
And I'm giving it a sense like these are all people like, oh, I have rheumatoid arthritis, or oh, I've got this going on. Like they're all. No one.
I mean, you. There's people like, oh, I need heal my arm, like different thing. But there's also like save my child. There's like some of it is pretty fucking oh shit. Yeah. It's intense, and especially you probably don't have the spell slots to do the really powerful stuff right now.
I might have.
I might have one mass heal or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I might have one mass heal. Let's see.
That'd be your 8th level spell slot. But you don't have any regenerates because that's all blade barrier.
Maybe we got to do a little Judge Dredd action.
I should have, I think 3 mass heals because I didn't cast 9 lives. I did cast 9 lives, so I have 2.
Okay.
Didn't you cast mass heal during the fight?
Did I?
I thought you did once.
I'm fine saying I have 1. That's no big deal. 7 level spells. 7th level, I think I should have a number. I could do it probably like 3 regenerates. Because I think the only thing I cast was Greater Restoration after the fight.
Okay, but you wasn't 7th level blade barrier?
No, it's 6th level.
Okay. Okay.
So if I can do that, I would try to draw some kind of level of attention in the crowd and say, like, I can do this, and I can heal people who have missing limbs. But for this evening, I encourage all. It's been a crazy night for everyone. Calm down, and I'll see you in the morning.
Okay.
If you have the spell, just like stone shape yourself up. Be above it.
I mean, I could Pillar of Motion myself up into the air.
No, you gotta cast Airwalk on yourself.
Oh my god, they would think
That's what I want. I want more.
Oh.
Yeah, just.
All right. Okay. Give me a diplomacy check.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Oh, pretty good.
Now I'm upset they're going to use it.
35.
Softly but firmly, you get everyone to quiet down and address them. I do believe that mass heal, you still have like a number of targets equal to your level.
Yeah, it's not going to be everyone.
Right. Yeah. So you start trying to put some order to this chaos, and obviously people are not really interested in saying, oh, okay, well, this person's worse off than I am. There's a little bit of friction there, but your attempt at restoring order draws Bletta's attention, and Bletta, the dutiful right hand to you, informs you that she has a list and she has kind of rank structured, greatest need, most pressing, and you outline to her as quickly as you can, this is how many people I can do this for, and this is how many people I can do that for. And you said you have 2 regenerates and 2 mass heals?
Well, I mean, if we want to be
conservative,
we could say I have 1 mass heal, but I should have at least 3 regenerates.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah.
Oh, I should have brought my cobalt buddies up here. They could have been like cops. They could have like kept.
Good luck.
So you relay that to her. There is like about a half hour of like logistics discussion, and then Bletta goes through the crowd that has gathered because it's kind of also a triage situation. Like people who aren't aware you're here they don't necessarily need to be looked for and brought in. So she does sort of organize and say, okay, these 16 people for the mass heal and these 3 people for the regenerate.
And then if I could just totally not my call, but Largo's with Mirok, correct?
Yes.
Not my call, but he might. I don't know if he would do this or not, but can he detect evil so we're not just like healing these people that are evil or have bad intentions?
That is not something that Largo can do.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Let's see. Is there something? Largo is probably putting on some sort of a show of, illusion, and I guess with
Yeah. I'm thinking of Godric, right?
Say it again.
I'm thinking of Godric, like detecting evil.
yes, Godric can do that.
The dog who's with me can do that. Come on.
Stupid dog.
But no. Largo can kind of create a more tries to create a more comfortable space, like a fey woodland with like will-o-wisps and different color lightning bugs, like trying to calm everybody down.
I appreciate you trying to do what I did. I just want my town to be a normal town.
It is at least distracting for some people. So it's keeping some heat off of you. It's not completely ineffectual in its utility. But yeah, so you do that, and then the regenerate is a man who lost a lung and has disease in the other lung, so he's like gonna die. There's a little girl who lost her leg in a run over by a cart, and then there's and then in the immediate vicinity there's also a nobleman who lost an eye in a duel, and Bletta kind of leans over and says he's going to donate a significant amount of money for this. Cool. And yeah, Bletta kind of points out, there's a couple of nobles. The vast majority of these are unfortunate peasants who I assume you turn away any sort of donations they give. Like some of them showed up with like fucking
Coppers.
Produce.
Sure.
But all told, between the nobleman who lost an eye that you recovered and a couple of other wealthy merchants and low tier nobles that you healed, like a heavy metal poisoning, where it's like, yeah, curing poison fixed them, but it was like a chronic issue, not just like food poisoning. There's a donation of total of about 1,500 gold pieces.
Okay. Okay. As that winds down, we are.
Well, as soon as that happens, it's kind of more of a okay, we need to go, because that there are other people.
Yeah.
And as the word travels, more people are going to show up, and it's you need to like kind of get out of sight.
That's what I'm saying. It's like as that ends, I kind of like to anyone within earshot where it's like, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go home now. He heads home. And on the way back, he'll talk to Blood. I'd be like, I had no fucking idea it was gonna get like that. We need to come up with some kind of a system, or this whole town's just gonna become a tent city.
Yeah, she says there are not, less than half, but there are a lot of people who just want to live here now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are just here to see you, and then they want to return to wherever they came from. And she gives you a ledger that has the first several pages are just kind of a spreadsheet where it's like the date the person or person's name, date they arrive, what their ailment is, and then you go like 4 or 5 empty pages back, and then she starts like short interview sessions where it's the name of the person, date they showed up, and like a description of what their station in life is, how their ailment came to be, so like you have a more comprehensive concept. And there's several where you can tell by the way she wrote it, oh, this poor thing, when she was 3 years old, she was run over by a cart in Kyla. She lost her leg. She's been on crutches for the last 5 years, and that's the little girl whose leg you regenerated.
Sure.
And then there's other ones where it's like, and like you can tell that her heart's bleeding for this person. And then there's like another one where it's like got into a bar fight, lost 3 fingers, jackass thinks thinks the world owes. Like, so there's you can tell that she's trying not to judge, but she can't help it in some cases.
Yeah, usually.
But yeah, you can thumbing through it, you realize there are some people who you want to help, and others who you don't want to help.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that you won't help the people that you don't want to. I'm not making that decision for you.
Yeah, Merrick takes the ledger and thanks her, and he asks, I'm gonna read over this tonight. And then he like pauses in mid-step and looks at his house and like looks at the tents. He's like, I'm gonna sleep in the mine. And he like heads off towards the mine to go sleep in the anvil room. He's like, I don't fucking want to be woken up in the middle of the night. Because he wasn't expecting it. That was very overwhelming.
Yeah. Well,
it completely makes sense.
All right. Letta also talks to Largo. There are there have been some representatives from different temples or churches of Baby between Kyla and Penteros that have come over, and basically, they're seeking you to heal these poor, unfortunate orphans. But then they find out that there's an orphanage here. So like another 5 kids have been dropped off at the orphanage.
We need to heal. Oh, cool. They just leave.
Well, I mean, it's basically like they have no idea when Mirok the healer is going to return, and
might as well just leave the kids here.
Yeah. Well, it's like we've only got 3 or 4 caretakers for an orphanage, and one of them here with 1 child is not taking care of the 30 kids back at, it's a logistics thing.
Oh yeah.
And the marm who's in charge of the orphanage is also a follower of Baby. So it's
wow.
Yeah. No, your
Tarn
home has doubled in population. And that's doubled in population of people who want to live there.
Yeah.
There are some people who have chronic conditions to where they're concerned that, if it comes back, they don't want to be across the kingdom.
Yeah.
They want to be where the man who can help them is.
Mirok, what you've done.
I created.
And maybe the bar has helped out a little.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, you have a bunch of
The
people.
bar is packed.
Yeah.
People sleeping in the stables.
Okay, can we call the cult the Stone Pariahs or like the Slayton Lepers? I don't know. I'll work on it. I'll come back to you with a better name. But,
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot them all down.
The Slatopian barbarians.
Yeah, that one.
The Dawnhammer congregation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heard the word of Mr. Dawnhammer? We have a congregation here in this rural town, and then in Brazil. We're not problematic. It's fine.
I got it. The Latter-day Slates.
Yeah, the letter.
Oh, that is really good. That is really good. Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, that like walking to the mine is a couple hours. It's not right outside of town. It's a ways. Largo might have the spells to like teleport you there.
I don't know. I don't think I want him to spend the spell. I think I want to rest up. I would hit the forest more quickly though, right?
Well, I mean, you built your house, right?
Yeah.
And you stone shaped and it's like got basements and shit.
Yes.
Yeah. So you probably get in your house and get to a place where like you just like walk into a room.
Yeah, there's no stairs to the basement.
Yeah.
That's design.
So that you have solitude in your home.
Okay, cool. I'll sleep in my home.
And Bletta is very dutiful and like she knows like you're saving the world on top of helping all these people. The least she can do is kind of manage and run interference.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So with all that, so Uhtred, you check in with Isnelda and Siffy, and Siffy like crawls all over you when you get over there. She wants to climb on Dad, and Isnelda asks about what was the earthquake, what was the thunder, what's going on with the comet.
Yeah, I fill them in, letting them know that I took care of everything. There was a minor issue, and there could be a greater one lingering, and I need to part ways for I don't know how much time, but no time apart could break the love we have with one another.
Okay.
I tell Sippy that. Or Fuzz-Delta.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she's totally into that, that sappy,
I learned some things.
Houndson now Scale Reaver poetry.
I do ask. I would love to know. Have you been treated differently since taking your new name?
She says, well, that is something we need to talk about because we have not been married yet, and I don't have that name yet.
And that we will discuss.
Oh, jeez.
She leans in really close and she says, "Oh yes, we will My days as a black flame are short in number. I am sure you agree.
I agree, and we should have a glass of ale to talk of future plans.
She looks at you kind of playfully and says, "Only one glass of ale?"
To start the conversation, my love, I have a cask. Also, Fosnelda, when did these people come to worship me downtown? I assume that's what they're here for. The Great Cleave, the Dragon Slayer.
Yes, Uhtred, but they're far too shy to profess their undying love for you. They've come with the excuse that they're here to see Mirok, but of course that's all just a elaborate ploy. They truly just want to bask in your incredible glory, my love.
Yes, yes. I see the game they play.
Oh man. Uhtred's intelligence regularly, very high. Uhtred intelligence when it's ego stroking, fucking 0.
It's more of a wisdom thing.
Oh, wisdom check, okay.
Yeah, insight is wisdom. His wisdom's not horrible, but he has not put any effort into reading people.
Yeah, why does he need to?
Why read people when you can cut them in half? She like gives you a kiss on the cheek, and then she says, "Well, good you have a cask. Go get me one from the bar, and we'll start that conversation." She smacks you on the ass.
On my way, my love.
Yeah, you go to the bar. As you're passing the bar, you see Mirok on these pillars of stone speaking to this crowd that
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up for 1 second!
And that looks really fucking lame. So you just continue on your way to the bar. The bar's packed. The bartender, Red, comes over, claps you on the back, and just as it says, "The road isn't even done yet. Look at this place."
Yes, my friend. I promised you riches.
It says, "Oh, riches we will share, my brother. What can I do for you? What can I do for you?" He says, "Oh yeah, we're running low on supplies, but I keep a special reserve, and Hound's Scale Reaver will always be, have his whistle wet here." So he goes,
I need but a favor, Red.
"What do you need?"
I need your strongest ale. I need my wife's eyes to close before mine on this eve. Important conversations ahead.
I've had those conversations. They've never ended well for me. That's why I'm still a bachelor. And he
Good
says,
life
"You
you
know what?
live.
I have got you covered." And he goes and he pulls out not a cask, but a really a large 2-gallon glass bottle.
It's like a quad, like a Belgian quad. Like a 14% beer.
Yeah. This is the strongest stout I have.
I'll take 2.
This is what I've got for you, my friend.
Well, then I will have it.
You'll have it. I will just mark it off of your monthly profits. Don't worry about it.
Shall we have a glass before I leave, Red? To celebrate?
Thought you'd never ask.
All right. So yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. He doesn't open the bottle. He pours you some ale from a cask he's got already tapped behind the bar. It's good stuff, not super high quality, but good stuff. He shares a beer with you. Sends you on your way.
Oh yeah.
You take the beer back home, and I want you to give me a fortitude save and a diplomacy check.
All right. Fortitude.
You went to another dimension to save this one.
28 fortitude.
Okay.
All right, and then a what?
And then a diplomacy check.
I don't have diplomacy, so what is that?
It's just a charisma check, so roll d20 minus 3.
All right. Oh shit, that's a 1.
Is that a total of 1, or is that a negative or negative 2?
I rolled a 4 for the charisma.
Total of 1. Okay, that's good. All right, so you pour Fiznelda a large stein of stout. She, gets into it, and then she lays into you. And
Like on a hot way?
Depends.
Okay.
And there is after a couple of glasses, she's in your lap, but at the same time, she's, telling you in a very stern manner that you're going to make an honest woman out of her. And this is happening, before you just go out gallivanting across the entire surface of the planet, you need to settle matters at home and blah, blah, blah. You just don't get a word in edgewise, but after about a dozen glasses, she's about done for. And you at least outlast her drinking, but you did not win the discussion at all.
You mean?
Can I roll maybe a perception to understand that this conversation won't be remembered?
That is a good question.
You can roll a sense motive, which would be just a wisdom check. That would be the d20 plus 1.
All right. Oh. 17.
17. You're pretty sure that whether she remembers the details of this discussion or not, this is not something that she's definitely thought a lot about this. This is not over, and this is definitely a discussion you're going to have again. Probably even the moment she wakes up.
Okay, noted. Yeah. So.
Do you want to sleep in the mine? Do you want to have a little camp out in the mine? 2 guys that don't want to be in their house. Oh, jeez.
I would probably just finish drinking my ale and wander off in a drift.
You finish drinking your ale, and you start to kind of wander your way out of the house. And you see Siffy in her nightgown holding like a stuffed dwarf with a stuffed mining pick. It's her little stuffed animal toy, and she just kind of does it. Where you going, Dad?
The people have gathered in the town court to honor your father. Come with me, young one, to see the praise.
No.
All right. she like goes over and like climbs up, you know.
Oh God.
I mean, he's wasted. He would probably think.
Yeah, you pick her up, you wander out into the town. It's like 3:00 in the morning. There's nobody out anymore. There's like a couple of torches lit. There's like a couple people like passed out in front of the bar.
This is a cool memory for Siffy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that first memory. Like this will be it.
You get into town, and as you see this and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't what I need to show my daughter, you realize she's already passed out. Like just on your shoulder, passed out. You turn around, get back to your house, and you don't really remember. Things get a little fuzzy, but the next morning you wake up and like an armchair, Siffy's laying on top of you, and you just crashed out, the two of you, in the living room overnight.
That's incredible. So you look like
we were bonding.
Yeah, you look like an awesome dad. Like your wife's gonna wake up and be like, "Oh wow, look at him! He put the girl down." And be like, "You just wandered out into the night with your child."
Drunkenly.
No one knows of it.
Yeah. True.
So next day, I mean, if we're still doing it, so I would wake up. I would let Fuzznell to know we are. My name is your name, but I have no time for wedding vows at this moment. The world is at stake.
Sure.
She says, "Oh, that's fine. We can hold the ceremony later, but there's the marriage certificate. Bletta has written it up for us. You just need
Give
to
me the papers, woman."
So you guys go to the town square, or you go to the town hall, get a hold of Bletta. I imagine you're kind of around at this point.
I'm the mayor. I have to endorse the contract.
So, you sign off on you and Bletta sign off as witnesses, and Thesnelda is now Thesnelda Scale Reaver.
You did it.
And then Thesnelda turns to Mirak and is like, "So you'll be officiating the actual ceremony. I'm thinking maybe we do this." It starts like rattling off her wedding plans and dates that she feels would be appropriate. You're kind of like, yeah. Maybe let's make sure that the world doesn't end before that. But
actually, at first I was maybe write that down. But yeah, I feel like Largo like really pitching hard. Like, do you want to have your wedding in a different plane?
And as a character,
destination wedding in the Tower of 1,000 Tears.
I would give like a slight nod, like
I'll cater.
Yeah, no, I was just saying as a character, Fuzznelda probably deserves that name more than Utri. Like
she died.
Yeah.
So
I got married.
Sick.
Largo does send to Yanni first thing in the morning. We'll kind of switch gears. Is there anything that you're trying to accomplish with your family back in Yelderim, aside from just getting them back home and doing that kind of stuff?
No, that's it. Just getting them home is the priority. Nothing really matters. If they want to have any conversations, I'm there, but they don't seem like the I feel like the black sheep, so they probably don't have anything to say.
Do you tell them about your betrothal to the Nokiri princess?
Yeah, I guess I would, and then I would follow that with, I'm not sure if that's still on the table. We kind of left in a hurry. I would be curious to see what dear old dad had to say about that.
He's a little confused about it. That's quite a leap. You're a very minor noble with no land or title of significance. However, that's a grand disparity in noble station. But obviously your deeds and your wealth are considerable. He kind of does a very paternal, if this is an obligation that you have accepted, then you need to honor that obligation. Fremonts have always been ones who stick to their word. And if this is something you've decided to do, then you need to, marriage is something you need to do with your whole heart.
Yeah, I agreed that was a condition to get me to the Herons Observatory and ultimately contribute to keeping the family name alive. So I fully plan on keeping my word.
He says, this also comes, my knowledge of the Nokiri Empire is not exceptional, but I know that the current empress is of the House of the Onyx Serpent. And they're not a house that our family would hold in the highest regard. But they are an exceptional station of power and prestige. And let me give him a motive on you. Oh. He says, I can tell from the way that you've talked about this that you have reservations and that you might not have the highest regard for your fiance.
I think it's fair to say that this came from tense beginnings.
Well, here's the rub. Your mom was a bitch too, okay?
They all are, son. You'll figure it out.
He says, realize that it's what you make of it. And if you marry into this family and she's the heir apparent to the empire and you are her king, you will sire the next empress. You will be able to raise the child that will be able to lead that nation.
That's a very good point.
If you have misgivings about that house, if you have misgivings about your fiance and your future mother-in-law, and when you marry into that family, make no mistake, she will be your empress. You will be a part of that nation. As a Fremont, I expect that you'll take that opportunity and you will lead that entire nation to a better tomorrow. As a good father.
Shit, that's heavy. Yeah. Well, I had a good father, so I think I've got the right foot forward. And I look away before he sees like one tear streak down my cheek.
He puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, I put the weight of the Fremont name on your brother's shoulders. Maybe I should have imparted a little bit more of that wisdom to you. But you found your own path, and I think you are a good man.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm straight up crying. At this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, he's gonna cry. If I was
just
there, I'd be like,
like ugly crying, snot. Like it's not a good look.
but Bort's there too, right?
Yeah, Bort's probably just laughing.
10 feet to the left.
Offering you a blunt.
That's pretty heavy, man.
That's intense. You want to hit?
I killed my dad.
He probably does. It's like, you're really good, man. I had to kill my dad. And my uncle. I think there's probably other relatives in my tribe that I killed too.
Yeah, at this point, he said that's why he's not seeing his sister. He's like, all right, I have to kill her.
But yeah, there's a little bit more kind of discussion. He tries to throw a little bit more of like, a sense of noblesse oblige, stuff that he mostly focused on your two older brothers. He figured your eldest brother was going to take over for him, but if shit happens, the second oldest might need to be the guy. But you were so far down the list that he really didn't try to hammer this stuff with you. He was trying to open up your opportunities because he knew you were going to have to join the clergy or become a merchant or kind of do your own thing, because you were not going to be in line for the position that he was going to leave to your older brothers. But now he's trying to kind of give you the crash course in how to be, a leader of men, the noble person, the noble office that, and also kind of admitting shit, I'm an earl. You're about to become a king. That's
fucking terrifying.
You might need to talk to some other people.
You guys a bitch now, dude.
But he kind of finishes it up with that if you said that you didn't necessarily leave on the best terms, I don't pretend to know all the particulars of this situation. But you need to decide exactly what you're going to commit yourself to here.
Okay. Well, this conversation has been very clarifying. I know what I need to do.
All right. So in the morning, Uhtred does the paperwork to be officially wed to Zelda.
Did that.
Yanni has some intense father-son time.
Mm-hmm.
Letta kind of goes over with you, basically asking, is there any clarification you need on anything in the ledger? What's she's breaks out a map of Tarnholm and says, we need to decide where we're going to build more houses.
Yeah.
There's a significant number that want to work at the mine.
Mm-hmm.
So we might want to build a mining camp so that it's not constant travel, or expand the mining camp.
Yeah, I agree. They can't stay in the town squatting around town hall. I think when they come, they should either stay at Red's or find somewhere to stay. Let's start settling them near the dwarven homes I built because that was towards the edge of town, so there's more space to expand.
Okay.
In regards to the mining camp, I agree. If they want to work on the mine, that's great. We do need to loop in Solora. We can't just start expanding the camp because the mine is close to the forest. So we want to make sure that we're in communication.
Well, the Tarn home has a basic. There's a river.
The log flow or something.
Yeah, the logway.
Logway.
Damn it.
It's a dead ass marker.
How's this one?
Oh,
There you go. So there's a river. There's a road that runs along the river. And there's a road that leads north towards the mining camp. And like the tavern, it's right there. Town hall, it's right there. Dakuta's is right there.
He would live by the river.
Anzam's. And Uhtred. I assume your place is pretty close to the town hall.
I mean, that makes sense because I built my house. Or no, I moved into one of the old dwarven houses.
Yeah, most of the dwarven houses are in this specific area. So yeah, Bletta says if you want to do something with the mining camp, you're obviously going to want to do it south of the mine because Solora's area is more to the northwest of it. So long as you're moving down the road, you're not really infringing upon her Sylvan Glade or whatever she wants to call it.
Okay.
But most of the housing kind of goes along here.
Yeah.
If for building extra houses either over here or over here, also kind of building some more, putting some effort into some more roads. There's plenty of workers. There's plenty of idle hands.
Yeah, I would say, let's expand in kind of these, radially, kind of filling in this, making a half circle. And then in regards to the roads, we've been using the loose gravel and scree from the mines. Let's continue to use that. So like heavily trafficked dirt roads, if we see them getting muddy, let's do like packed earth, hardened stone. And when I'm in town, I can make that into a solid road.
All right. So right now a lot of that's like going way down the road, and we can just divert that to the immediate area for the time being before resuming sending that along the road to Kylo. Huh?
To the road project.
Yeah.
No, not the road projects still get priority.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, if there is excess, like, because there's more people working the mines, there's gonna be more mined material coming out, and if there does come an excess, let's use that for like internal Tarnholm roads, or like like an alley rather than just being a mud pit.
All right. It's more a thing where it's not so much like it's an amount, it's how many people you have to move it and then where you move it to, and that road, the Kylo Road project is going to eat all of it for probably a little while at least. She suggests maybe like doing a
like 20%,
80% split.
Okay.
Try to work on both at the same time. If you don't want to draw away from the road project for the town project.
Yeah, I'm cool with
that. She also suggests that maybe you want to pick one side or the other because clear cutting, leveling the land and everything might be better, more efficiently done in a single space.
That side, right? Because this way is Kylo.
Yeah,
that side.
Okay. All right. So doing some rough estimates. Squares out a couple of acres, and you figure out what kind of housing we want to put in. she starts throwing out like, oh, well, this guy's a cobbler and this guy's a, and you're like,
If it was up to me, they'd just be variations of dwarven houses, just slightly taller.
well, most of these people are not dwarves.
So it's,
So yeah, it's maybe a couple of hours of urban planning and you know, broad strokes, not
Yeah.
getting too bogged into the details. And yeah, she says she'll move forward with that as you direct. What's annoying about that marker?
yeah, I think, yeah, that's out of 10, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So with that decided, Largo finds you, and says, there are 5 new children at the orphanage, and one of them is named, and he starts just, he's thrilled. You actually don't recognize him until he starts talking because he's using an illusion to look like the benefactor of Anzam's.
Yeah. Who I never fucking see.
But like when he comes up to you and starts, excitedly telling a tale, you're like, oh, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah, I patiently
know this
listening to him tell me about 5 new orphans as I anticipate a town's population doubling.
And once he gets that out of the system, and you kind of casually mention that you married Thesnelda and Uhtred like an hour ago.
Yeah.
And he throws a tantrum about not being invited to the wedding or allowed to plan.
I immediately tell him it was a legal signing. The ceremony has yet to happen. And I say, you know who should do the bride's gown? And I would assume at the exact same moment we both say, Mark fucking LaFlatte.
Trevor got a 96% on his first certification test.
Get that ammonia, Trevor. Get it right in your lungs. I'm assuming that's what that test meant.
Okay.
I mean, a 97 would have been better, but I'll take a 96. Proud of you, buddy.
Glenn, do you have anything to weigh in here?
It's like the more you study, the more you know.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that checks out. That checks out.
Okay. But yeah, after that little drama moment is finished, Largo kind of gets together with Uhtred and Mirok and says, so what's our plan?
Well, you should go get Bort and Yanni. We will come up with a plan while you're gone.
Well, I think I should be involved in the planning.
And of course you will be, my friend.
Yeah, but we can't get the planning started without the other guys. So we're just going to come up with a rough outline, a brainstorm, and then as a team all together, we'll do the planning. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. And Yanni, this is Largo. Are you ready to be teleported back to Tarnum? You can answer this message with up to 20 words. Feel free to be succinct or as...
Nice, really good. Is this the
He sent you a sending, so.
I look at Bort.
Tower.
Bort, are you ready to go to Tarnholm? I imagine Bort snakes some brandy or something and says, yeah, good to go. So I just say yes as long as I can say it. Just yes. Yes.
we had that thing.
And
Is
what
that
I
better?
imagine is
Empty
21.
my card.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So a few moments later, well, let's see if he successfully teleports to you.
Yeah.
That's
So Dan, if you need to rein me in here, feel free. But I am planning on telling Largo is ready to go back, but I plan to go to the Nakiri Empire.
What?
Yeah. I gotta sort some stuff out.
well. He says, well, I mean, why don't you come back to Tarnhelm with us? And if you need to go, then either Dakuta can take you or I can take you. That's
Yeah,
a good
I
idea.
can get
It's,
Dakuta to
it's
take
only
me.
going to be more difficult for you to get there from here. Oh no.
The second he teleports away, Mirak looks at Uhtred and he goes, empty minecart. And they just immediately book it into the bar. Because Mirak has not had a fucking drink in a very long time. Last night was stressful.
I want you to come over here and look at the gold percentile die that I just rolled.
Largo's in the ocean. That's incredible. It is a fucking 1 on a percentile. A 0, 1.
Oh, so it's not 100. It's a 1.
It is a fucking 1.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, Dan killed Largo.
Okay.
Let's see.
Where's he gonna end up?
I don't know. I don't know what happens.
Hey, shut up.
No matter what happens, he can't leave the plane of existence, like, right? Because that's not what the spell does. It's like his worst case, right? If you like.
Okay.
Oh,
So you're waiting in the study that you initially teleported to, because this is where you know that Largo would be familiar to teleport to. And you're just, you're waiting. You figure it's going to take him like a minute or so before he casts the spell and shows up. And then between Yanni and Bort, who both have stellar perception checks, you just get this, you hear, and you turn and you look and you just see like Largo's bottom half sticking out of a wall.
Oh, I love it.
And he is he's like the muffled sound of him screaming from inside the wall, and then like his form shakes and just like it's shunted out of the wall, and then you hear outside.
I guess let's go. I guess I'll get bored and we'll just go try to find him.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you go outside and you find him like slowly pushing himself off of the ground, as he was shunted out of the house and then teleported, some amount of height, in the yard, and then just fell to the ground from there. So
It's getting worse and worse every time he teleports. What's Mirak saying back into the bar? Well, he's not part of that.
So Largo takes 30 points of damage between getting stuck in a wall from this guy.
Largo, can you give me any form of assurance that won't happen when we leave here?
Oh yes, definitely. That was a one-off.
I'm sure.
Actually, between Largo's diplomacy check and your sense motive, I think he beats you.
Yeah, that's fair. I wholeheartedly believe that will never happen again.
He got a 41 on his diplomacy.
Weren't you a part of his teleport that ended up in the ocean?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, but to beat up, what'd you say that was?
Actually, no, that was Dakuta's teleport that wound up in the ocean. That was because Dakuta could scry and see.
It was Largo that ended up on the mountain in like the flow.
Yeah. With your dad.
Yeah, and then had to like make a flame, or didn't y'all make like a beach Sandman?
No, that was Miro. Phage plane shifted whatever back to the.
Yeah, that was my own.
No. We should fucking walk everywhere we go.
Yeah.
The most dangerous thing in this campaign for you guys is traveling.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Largo's like, okay, let's go to turn home, everybody. Hold hands. You like see like one of his pinkies is completely dislocated.
You sound
Fix that. Okay, so teleporting back to Turnhall.
What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, you arrive directly in front of Anzam's. No problem.
So, I guess Yanni might know this, but what the hell is Anzam's?
It's Largo's orphanarium.
Anzam's School for the Betterment of the Young, who, although they may be disappointed,
Okay.
also blessed with gifts we will nurture.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
Welcome to
I go away from this place, and I don't care what direction.
Are you going to go to Dakuta for a teleport to Nokiri, or are you going to ask Largo for that?
Nah, Largo's just going to get offended and try to talk me out of it. I'm just going to go to Dakuta.
Yeah, that's a smart call.
Okay. Dakuta's going to charge you.
Yeah, I've got mounds of gold. To be exact, I have. Hold on. Now, you guys need to be setting down for this. I have 7 gold. No, it's pretty bad because I gave most of it to someone else. I can't find where I have it written down. Sorry, no. 210 gold. Evidently, nice. I thought I gave that 200 to someone.
So he says if you want to teleport to Nokiri, you want to teleport back. Is that basically the gist of it?
This could just be a one-way trip, bud.
He says, well, how about I teleport you there, and I will give you 3 hours to conduct any business, and if you don't need a teleport back at that time, then I will leave you to it.
That's fair.
For that, it would be 200 gold pieces.
200 gold pieces. I believe I have 210 according to my last note. I can't see where I gave 200 away. So, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay.
I have 10 gold.
And he does tell you, like the going rate for this kind of thing would be, 10 times the spell level times the caster level. That would put it at around 500 gold per teleport each way. So 200 is a significant, what do you call it?
Dakota, not only are you a scholar, but you are a gentleman, and I appreciate you.
He's like, I appreciate you. My negotiations with Mirok were not nearly as civil.
Well,
Right? You can just do it.
Except for him, like, teleporting accidentally into a volcano.
So here's my thing, and we don't have to get it because it's his scene. If a friend of mine needs a ride, I'm not going to be like $2,000. That is insane to me that Dakota is like, oh yeah, give me money every time. It's like, a little bit every now and then.
Well,
sure.
you know, I checked with Scott, and Scott is.
Oh yeah, I'm sure is. That's Merrick's beat. He's like, we're friends. Fuck you for charging me for this.
You can afford it. Okay, so Dakota teleports you guys to the nuclear empire
let's go grovel.
successfully. And he teleports you to the Imperial Palace.
Oh God, like in the throne room or like outside?
No, in the courtyard.
I was like, well, this is starting poorly.
And like you land you appear in the courtyard, and immediately several guards rush to you, and then one of them recognizes who you are and tells the others, "Oh, this is this is Yanni. He may be betrothed to the princess."
I'll never tell.
So
Honestly.
So yeah, I'll just wave and say hi. Yeah, I'm here to check on that. If I could be granted an audience with the Empress.
all right. There's a bit of a discussion formality to that. You're both ushered into the palace and wait in one of the antechambers. It's not the same as the war room that you were in last time, the smaller room. Looks like it's some form of waiting room, but some sort of orderly comes and collects you, and you're brought back to that same chamber that you met with the Empress last time. And the Empress and the Princess are both there. They're sitting on a slightly raised dais on cushions, and they're dressed nicely, but not in their full royal attire, not in the pomp and circumstance of the way the Empress was dressed the first time you showed up here. And the doors opened, and the orderly that brought you back here announces you Lord Yanni Fremont of Yeldarin, and bows and waits for you to enter the room. And then when you do, he closes the door behind you. And at this point, you're just looking at the Empress and the Princess, who are just like giving you a level, emotionless stare.
Yeah, that's. Could I try sense motive? See if I have any sort of idea what I'm stepping into.
Sure.
Here we go. That is 18 on the die. Nice. 42.
Okay. So between the Empress and the Princess, the Empress is a lifetime politician. Your intuition is beyond the ken of most people, and you're still finding her hard to read. But what you get from her is that she is waiting to see what you say, waiting to see what you do. You know, she is ready to accept your next course of action and make her decisions based on that. The princess does not have the same breadth of experience that her mother has. She's attempting to adopt that same stone face, but you can read her quite a bit more easily. And there's an amount of that, you know, she wants to know what you're going to do. She doesn't, but the emotion behind that is far more complicated. You sense anger, you sense anxiety, you sense an amount of fear. And beyond that, you also notice that while the Empress has, you know, her eyes are just locked on you. The princess's eyes are not as steady, and for a scant moment, her eyes flit from you to the corner of the room near the ceiling behind you. And then back to you.
It is. Okay. You know, it's fine. So first, I guess I'll take like a deep bow. And say, apologize for the atypical entrance and request to see me today. I wanted to apologize for how I left and what the terms I left on our last meeting.
Okay.
When I agreed to our proposal, I did so with reservations and hesitance. I'm here now to say that is no longer the case, and I'm here to fully give myself to this family and this kingdom, if you'll still have it.
The princess looks to her mother, and you know, the Empress, after a beat, turns and looks at the princess and gives more of a reassuring nod than anything else, and then turns back to you and says, "Our relationship is a strained one. I was hoping that the union of our families would be more than just the House of the Onyx Serpent and the Fremont Estate, but also the Nokiri Empire, and to an extent, the Roses Are Red. I understand that Largo has some concern, perhaps even some trauma, considering his history with my daughter and Inwani. But before you accept this, before you are ready to move forward, you have to understand that the matters of the Empire, the matters of this house, are not up for discussion."
What did she mean by like not for discussion? Like we come first? Is that what she's trying to communicate?
She's and I mean, I'll go with it. He's still got the sense motive thing going on, so he's reading between the lines on this. She's basically saying you cannot dictate what happens in this house or in this empire. That is not your place. She's not trying to dictate what you will do, but she's just saying, you know, you do not have that power to dictate what happens within the House of the Onyx Serpent. She says, I would ask, though, we heard the impact. We felt the ground shake. What do you know of the impact of the Dustbringer comet?
We haven't had a chance to investigate the impact. In the town of Yeldarim, something came off the Dustbringer comet. Largo tells me it is a color out of space. Force Magics was the only offense that worked against this creature, if you could call it that. It appeared to be a being of light. That is all we've managed to investigate so far.
But you do plan to investigate this further.
That is correct.
And you are fully aware of the prophecy that the Dustbringer comet will bring the end of the world.
Yes. We are actively trying to stop that.
She nods and she turns to the princess, Yumi, and puts her hand on Yumi's hand that she's, you know, got folded in her lap, and gives a deeper nod. This one you're reading as like urging or suggestive sort of connotation. And Yumi bows her head for a moment, and she stands up and she walks to you, and she takes you by the hand and says,
You know?
you know, she pauses, trying to collect her words, collect her thoughts. Says, it would bring great honor to the Onyx Serpent if my future husband was to play a part in the safety and security of the Empire. And even greater honor if that brought safety and security to the whole of Alvashore. And she, like, still holding your hand, she moves to stand beside you and, you know, directs her attention to the Empress. And the Empress says, I offered before when you left so abruptly, if there is anything that I could do to aid you in the matters that are coming ahead. I offer this help once again. Is there something in particular that would be?
I would have one request, if it's within your power. If we could get help getting to the impact zone, that would be greatly appreciated. We appear to be unable to get there on our own power.
Okay. Just to kind of move through this quickly, you know, the suggestion comes up about the gate rod, and it's explained to you that it's basically a lesser form of gate that only works on one plane of existence. Otherwise, for the most part, it functions as teleport, but it does open up a doorway, so it's not restricted by how many people can be moved. It's more restricted on how long the gate stays open and how many people can pass through it. But otherwise, it has a similar limit of range and a similar limit of, you have to be able to see where you're going, or, you have to be able to scry or look into the location that you're trying to travel to. So as far as she is aware, it would probably take multiple uses to get from where you guys are all the way to the South Pole. It's beyond 1,600 miles. Secondly, she has already had the Imperial Seer attempt to scry on the South Pole, to attempt to scry on the Duskbringer Comet. And whatever prevented that sort of divination magic before is still in effect. It just does not work. So as far as she can tell, that using like a scry teleport thing is probably still not something that can be done. But she is willing to lend you the gate rod if that will be of help. It can be used 3 times per day, and otherwise it works as a teleport for that can teleport you up to 1,000 miles.
Okay, so I can't use it, right? I don't have use magic device, but I can let one of my party use it, and I will ensure that it's returned to you.
As long as it's not Bort.
Yeah.
Actually, Bort has some fail safes now. Even if he rolls a 1, he can still try again.
Okay, yeah, that's a reassuring.
He's picked up some workarounds. But after that is done, the princess walks you out. You feel something move past you, and then you hear Inawani's voice, calling as it moves down the hall in front of you. I'll go get the rod. But she's invisible. And the princess, when you're kind of alone walking down the hall back towards where you left Dakuta, she says, "My mother has made it abundantly clear to me that there are matters at hand that are far more pressing than the slight that Largo made against my honor. If it helps at all, please give him my regards and offer him my apology."
Intriguing.
I will let it.
You can tell she's not thrilled about that, but she does it with as much sincerity as she can muster.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, because we almost
Well,
not inaccurate.
But yeah, you get back to Dakuta. The princess kisses you on the cheek and bows and leaves. And about a minute later, you're wondering, what exactly, what you're waiting for or what's going to happen. And the rod just like drops out of the air above you. And then it's just like, and I'm assuming with Yanni, he, like snatch arrows, he just like instinctively grabs it out of the air And as he's wrapping his hands around it, he can hear Inalani's voice say, "Catch it! You got it."
I just try to like wave. I guess I don't really know exactly where she is, but just bye, vampire lady.
And Dakota sees the rod and looks at you and says, "If I can look at that for 5 minutes, I'll waive the return fee."
Return fees.
Does that mean that I get 100 gold back, Dakota?
That is exactly what it means.
How about this, Dakota? I'll let you look at it for 5 minutes, and you can keep your 100 gold. And next time I come knocking, give it to me on the house. How about that? I promise it won't get you killed.
You can tell he really doesn't want to make that deal, but he's doing so out of friendship and camaraderie.
Yes, let's go. I just conned Dakota into helping me one time for nothing.
Well, it's like, that's on its face a bad deal. It's like, I'm going to come to you later with an unspecified request, and you have to, proactively agree to it. That's a bad deal.
Maybe I just
he trusts Yanni enough that Yanni's not going to take advantage of him on that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Maybe he doesn't know Yanni as well as he does.
Yanni might show up at 4 levels and be like, "So."
Oh no, I'm never gonna turn it in. It's just gonna eat at him. Fuck with his psyche. That's how you really.
So yeah, he takes a couple of minutes, and he's all about this like rod, and he said, he does ask like, maybe later if like there's a lull or something, and I can spend some more time with it, that would be great. Blah blah blah, and then he teleports you back to Tarnholm successfully.
Hey. Yeah, board. Never. No, board already went back.
Yeah,
he should be good. So I'm gonna give Dakota my last 10 gold just so I can get rid of it, and I'll have no money. So here you go, buddy. A tip for not dropping me in the ocean this time, or teleporting me onto a mountain, or in this the side of a building.
He gives you a like a ceramic tablet that's got a groove down the center. Looks kind of like maybe like a large, I don't know, but it's an oval about palm size with a groove down the center. And he says, "Snap this along the groove. I will know that you need me for something, and I will send to you. And if you need me to do something, then you can call in the favor."
Thank you, Dakota.
Then I assume you go and find your compatriots.
Yeah, I think given the history of the group's decisions, I would start at the empty minecart.
How much time has passed?
Probably around 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're still there for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
first thing I say to Largo is, I just want you to know the princess gave me a very heartfelt and sincere apology. For her, it was. It's the most sincere I've ever seen her be.
Give me a deception check. Yeah, that's a bluff check. I'm sorry.
So charisma,
Charisma, yeah.
my best skill.
Yeah.
Here we go. Can I use all 3 of my action dice?
You can do what you like.
Oh yeah, here we go. Give me that nat 20.
He told
Okay. Yeah.
he told Largo that the princess gave him a heartfelt and sincere apology.
Okay. Yeah.
And Yanni knows for a fact it was not
Yep.
heartfelt or sincere. It was the best she could
Yeah.
muster.
I rolled a 2, and I have a -2 modifier.
Okay.
At a 0.
Okay.
Action die time. All
Okay.
You're at a 0. It's not gonna matter.
I'm very charismatic. All right, it is now a 4. Now with the 10, here we go. A 20.
Okay.
Good.
Largo also rolled a 2. For a total of 3.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, so you return to the empty minecart and you reconvene with the party.
So Largo believes that he's been issued a very sincere apology.
Largo believes Yanni.
All right.
Looks like I'm the charismatic one now.
Yep.
You have a lot of really good liars in the group. And only one person who has any concept of when someone's telling the truth. Aside from telling that to Largo, do you want to share anything with anybody else?
I mean, if I find out that Uhtred's getting married, I don't want my news to trump Uhtred's news. I want us to all revel in that. I'll just fill him in later. Oh, well, I would say, hey, I got this cool rod we can teleport with.
How'd you get that rod?
Just fell into it.
Well, that's obviously bullshit. Is what you're yeah.
Yanni doesn't have any more action dice to bluff with.
Okay, so since someone's asking questions, I would get Mirok to the side and be like, fucking listen, okay?
Uh-huh.
The wedding's back on, and I got this rod, okay? That's all we need to know for now. Let's not ruin Uhtred's celebration.
I grab you by the collar and I seem really angry and I really quietly go, do you speak any other languages?
Yeah. So Celestial and Terran.
Okay, great. I switch over to Terran. And yeah, we rock talk for a minute. I like, just shoot me straight. And if you shoot me straight, I'm like, look, from my point of view, Largo's having a grade school scrap with your bride to be. He did something she didn't like. She overreacted. He overreacted. I don't give a shit about that. You want to marry her? More power to you. Go do it. I will say though, I want to kill that fucking vampire thing because it is unholy. But
Yeah, I get that, and I'm not far off from that. So,
okay, cool.
Who's to say that doesn't happen at some point in the future?
Cool. Yeah, that's all Merrick's saying. Merrick doesn't care that you get. He's cool with that. Okay, then we switch back to common, and I act as if I'm finishing off like the end of a joke.
I laugh way too loud so unnatural, just like and
Right.
just fuck the whole thing up.
Yeah, no one's gonna be suspicious because I'm famously a very funny person.
Also, no one's going to be suspicious because he is a horribly uncharismatic person, and his laugh sucks to begin with.
Yanni's words. Okay, cool. Yeah, then resuming the table. Do we want to plan our next steps? Like,
We go to the South Pole.
so we got this rod. It goes how far? Like 1,000 some miles.
1,000 miles.
1,000 miles.
But you still have to like have an idea of where you're going.
Right, can't just be like south.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have to. It works the same way as teleport as far as like destination.
Well, then we're in the same kind of boat as scrying, aren't we? Or scrying and teleporting.
Let's save some spell slots for someone, right? Or I don't know how magic shit works. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it could save Largo up to 3 spell slots a day
That's the main gain.
at the moment. Yeah. It also, like could move a large number of people if you can like organize them and get them ready to pass through the gate instead of being limited to Largo can move 6.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Uhtred had a really good idea earlier about kind of tremor sensing this thing. Is there any? I mean, dwarves live underground.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like, does the Kingdom of Cass have like a USGS, like tremor research stations? Like, oh, we got a quake here, we got a quake there. Purple Worm or Thosis, Durger, whatever.
Okay, work through this. What do you want to do with that?
So if they have some kind of a research station, right? Like, oh, like, yeah, we sense a tremor here, and then this guard outpost over here sense a tremor. Between those 2 points, we could then determine how fast that moved and then how far, like, to the pinpoint of where it is. So if this works like greater teleport, couldn't we then use it the way Uhtred was saying?
Well, given what, so the rod works like regular teleport.
Which Largo is less of a teleport.
Largo has regular teleport. Greater teleport is what he was talking about. And greater teleport, he could say, I want to go to the South Pole, and he'll go to the South Pole.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to know where it is. He just has to have a solid understanding of where he's trying to get.
Okay. So it wouldn't work for the same reasons. Then maybe we Largo sleeping friend this?
Okay. Sure. No, he's willing to do that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like the questions that would need to be asked. What order?
So you can ask 8 questions, I think. Is it one per level or one for every 2 levels?
Could we put out a map and do did it crash land here, crash land there? Because it relies on common knowledge.
I mean, the astronomers got the trajectory and they pretty much were like, this is where it's going to land. Like geographically speaking, it's maybe trying to narrow it down from a 30 by 30 mile range to something smaller than that. But I mean, that's
we need to ask Largo sleeping friend, where is it? Specifically, we need to ask how can we get to a place we've never been to? It's kind of the end goal.
Okay. Let me just check where the sleeping friend is. One question for every 2 cast levels, so you can ask 8 questions. So you might want to like brainstorm the 8 questions first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yes, we can't teleport there. Closest we can teleport is Cass, because it's the closest southern place we've been. So we basically are looking for like modes of transit to places we've never been. So I mean, like he would ask, like, is there something he can summon, like a creature, something fast, something that flies, maybe? or a spell that you could cast that would allow him to move very quickly? Because the South Pole is how much farther from Cass?
It from Cass would probably be at least one, but probably two teleports.
Okay, so yeah, okay. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Like, are there any kind of mounts you can summon? Any extraplanar creatures? Any spells? Those are the only things I can think to ask. It sounds like we need to actually transit our bodies. We can't just teleport blind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Largo has the first time he went to Cass, he summoned flying horses for all of you.
Hold on.
I don't remember that.
He can summon flying horses.
He told you they could only run on the water, but they could fly.
Oh,
He just wanted you guys to run the horses along the water.
Oh my god. Can I kick him in the ass? Can I take an attack roll on him? It's so
Like you started, it's like, I'm far more powerful than I was the first time I summoned them.
if I'm saying like maybe the sleeping friend, if he mentioned these horses, then I would ask like, how fast can they move and how long do they exist for?
I mean, Largo knows that. You don't have to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking Largo. Like, it's like, oh, if you know this, like, I need to know more information.
Okay.
If we wanted to use the sleeping friend though on the comet or whatever, divination magic isn't working on it, right? Is Largo sleeping friend a divination spell?
I think we tried to use it once before, and it just screamed. Or something.
Yeah, yep. And Largo was like, I've never seen that happen before. Or I don't know.
Actually, it didn't scream. It just.
Oh, right. It screams if you.
When it fails, it's supposed to scream.
Yeah.
It just
Stop.
ceased working.
Yeah.
So yeah, he can summon communal, up to 6 quasi-real horse-like creatures that can fly at 100 feet speed, so basically 200 feet per round.
How many rounds are there?
1 hour per level, and then he can split that among the group.
Okay.
Could Blessing of Fervor double that?
No, it's too high.
It's a higher level spell.
100 hours. Okay.
1 hour per level.
Yeah, so it's 9,600 minutes. So that's 96,000 rounds. Divided among 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. So I'm trying to figure out like how many miles per hour they move. Okay. They were 200 feet per round. That's 96,000 rounds. So then times 200. That's a shit ton of feet. How many feet are in a mile? 5,000?
5,280.
5,280. 5,280. I'm working out that if one person uses it, that's 3,600 miles roughly they could go. Okay. Divided by 5 people, that's 727 miles. So if we summon them from Cass, that would get us most of the way, but not all of the way. Because you said it would be 2 teleports from Cass, so it's between 1,000 and 2,000 miles. So it might take 3 castings.
Well, teleport for Largo is 1,600 miles.
Okay. Yeah, so
The rod is limited because the rod has its own caster level.
Okay. Okay, so either way, like, but probably 3 castings of this mount spell. I think that's a pretty decent idea. What do you guys think? I got a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Definitely a thumbs up.
There you go. Okay. So yeah, maybe we do that. We gate to Tarnholm, cast this spell, go as far as we can, maybe cast it a second time, evaluate, maybe base camp.
So you want to say?
Did we want to touch base with Alorn before we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea.
Yes.
With the rod. Okay, yeah, we'll touch base with Alorn. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm Mirac's ready to go now. If we want to use the rod to get to Solomon.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So you use the rod. I guess you're gonna let Largo do it, or
I don't have to use magic device. Okay. Yeah.
Largo does it. No problem. Create a gate to Solomon. Step through. You end up in the courtyard, or like the yard outside of Alorn's cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And Largo goes and knocks on the door. Alorn answers. Oh, didn't know you were coming. So far, we have not received any word of anything out of the ordinary. We did see the comet pass, not directly overhead. It was a ways to the east, but nothing of the sort of this color out of space that you described. It seems to have passed by Solomon without incident. What is your current plan of action?
Our current plan is we are going to use this rod and go as far south as we can, which is only to Cass. Largo is going to cast his communal mounts, and we will fly as far as we can and evaluate, and then continue to fly because we have a decent idea of where this thing could have landed. So we will just head that way. But it will take us a while.
If I may, I would like to offer you what insight I have.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that perhaps whatever divination protections held sway over the comet would have been destroyed when it landed. But I still have no capability to view it or in any way sense it remotely. Given the information Largo gave me that it was supposed to land at the South Pole, I have been there in the past and I attempted to travel there.
Really?
That did not work either.
Interesting. What would that mean if you couldn't teleport to a place that you'd previously been?
There's a couple of options. There could be some sort of a dimensional lock in effect, forbiddance, anti-magic, which would either have to be exactly where I am intending to go or cover a massive amount of area. Any three of those. None of them are. Forbiddance can be quite extensive in size, but dimensional lock and anti-magic tend to be much smaller in scope.
Okay. Would that prevent? So it seems like only anti-magic would prevent us from flying there. Like if there is an anti-magic field, there is a potential that we just plummet out of the sky at some point.
Fly low. But the real issue is we don't know what it is. and we don't know what it might be beyond some protections against divination, some protections against teleportation. Anti-magic would be significantly more deleterious to any of your efforts. A dimensional lock or a forbiddance would be a large nuisance because it would also hinder any attempts at instantaneous escape.
Right. So if we found it and we got within this field, as long as we're in that range, we can't observe and report back.
And who knows? I mean, if it's anti-magic, you would be limited greatly.
Anti-magic wouldn't make Bort less sneaky or me less fast. I mean, you know, some of us could try to do a reconnaissance mission, you know, and not rely on magic if it is an anti-magic field.
But if it's protected against divination, it's protected against teleportation magics. There might be other specific things that it's protected against as well that we're not aware of. All I'm saying is go into this with as much caution as possible.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Largo says he remembers seeing it 200 years ago.
100 and change.
Yeah. And that it veered abruptly away from the surface.
From his perspective, it would have been traveling from west to east, and then once it got a ways east of him, pause in the sky for about a minute, and then abruptly change direction and head south.
And that's Aelorn's same vantage, roughly. I mean,
Aelorn didn't see it.
Didn't see it. Okay. I was just curious, like, if Mirak would, knowing that, or Largo more accurately, knowing that, would wonder, did something have an effect on it, or do we just think that's another strange?
Aelorn did tell you that there was an incident at the castle, and that that there was some fell deed took place. There wasn't a clear account of what exactly transpired. Most witnesses were killed, including his granddaughter, and there was so there's just something happened. It changed direction, and it wasn't due to return for another 150 years.
Okay. From Aelon's experience, something that is so resistant to divination magic and these other things, what could have had an effect? What could he maybe would imagine could have an effect on something that seems so resistant to so many magics?
Well, there was magic used at the observatory, right, to view it.
No.
There was no magic there, just good old physics.
There was some magic used on the telescope to improve the way the telescope worked, but it wasn't divination magic that was directed at the.
Yeah.
It was like transmutation magic that shaped the lenses and stuff that just enhanced the telescope in a magical way.
Magic on the apparatus, not on the comet.
Right.
Got it.
Basically, the telescope had the same way that Mirox got a plus bonus to his healing from his gloves, the telescope had a plus 10 bonus to perception checks. So you ask that question, and Aelorn says, with as much protection that this thing has against any efforts to discern its nature, whatever acted upon it must have been immensely powerful or extremely specific,
Mm-hmm.
or both. Whatever happened to it, whoever changed its trajectory must have known exactly how to do it or been godlike in power.
Okay.
Or a combination of those two.
So there either were or are beings that are incredibly powerful, or there either were or are beings that knew something very specific about whatever this is. We think. Or we don't, more accurately.
So is it stupid to just get on the flying horses, stay 10 feet off the ground, and just go? I mean, like, how else can we get there? You know, we gotta take a step in a direction.
Yeah, I think that is right now our best plan.
Yeah.
Should we grab a map?
You are our map.
You're the map.
Right. See, he said that too, but I could roll poorly.
Yeah, but I could roll as well because I have geography. You're not the fucking king of geography, and also it's south.
But I'm kind of the king.
It's south. You're going to the South Pole. You just go south.
Oh, you want to go to the Nigeri Empire again?
Aelorn says, there's something else I might be able to do to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns to Uhtred, stops, turns to Yanni, and says, Yanni, I'm sorry it's a mundane task, but should you start counting for me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And he says, please just humor me. This might take a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks Mirok and Largo to follow him.
Yeah, because you knew I'm not to do this bullshit.
So I'm still counting.
Yeah.
I'm staring at them like.
So he takes you inside his cottage, and it's a pretty humble cottage. It's a little cluttered, but it's like it's built into the bottom of a massive oak tree. And he says, as I asked Yanni if you would just humor me, and he goes to the wash basin that is set just beneath a small little portal window that looks out into the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And under the wash basin, there's a cabinet. And he moves a few of the objects that are sitting on top of the cabinet, like the soap dish, pulls the hand cloth, to perfectly even, and then he reaches down and pulls open the cabinet beneath the wash basin. And as he does, that door grows to 5-6 feet tall, and it opens into another room.
Okay.
And he gestures you and Largo through. You head through, and you walk into a large room that's maybe 40 or 50 feet across. The room seems entirely circular, and you can see around the exterior of the room, there are workstations. One of them looks very similar to one of the enchanting workstations you have in the basement of the Cordessi estate.
Mm-hmm.
The one for crafting wondrous items. As you kind of take this area in, you notice that there are 2 stairwells on either end of the circular room. And as they go up, they twist until the stairs are perpendicular to the wall, and then twist until they land on the ceiling, where you can see there's almost identical floor plan, but with different sets of workstations hanging from the ceiling. He says, this is one of the chambers of my private demiplane. This is where I come to craft magic items that I need. I spent quite a bit of time on this sanctum. And inside this space, as he begins walking you through, a couple of things are different from the prime material plane. He leads you up the stairs, and as you walk up the stairs, the gravity changes so that you're always standing against the stairs, and you get to the other end of the stairs and you're standing on the roof. And what was the floor now looks like the roof to you. And he points out on the first level that you came in, there's a potion station, a wondrous item station, an armor station, a weapon station. On the ceiling, which is now the floor that you're on, there's a station for wands, a station for rings, a station for staves, and a station for scrolls.
Damn.
You may be in need of any sort of very particular item in what comes next. I am willing to offer you use of this space if there is something that you need to craft that is important for what comes next.
Okay.
And, this whole process takes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes as he's explaining these things to you. And then there's a couple of other doors that lead out of here. And he says, don't mind those doors. You don't know how to open them. You don't know how to get to the other spaces in my demiplane. Perhaps there will be a time where I will invite you to those. But for the moment, you are welcome to come in and enter my workshop. And he explains to you how to orient the items on the wash basin, and then the code phrase that you have to say in your mind to activate the door, so that it doesn't just open to a storage space for sponges and buckets underneath the wash basin. It actually opens into this part of his demiplane. But yeah, you do that. Takes about 20 minutes for him to work through all of it. A lot of it is because Largo is awestruck and, kind of veers off on tangents and interrupts the process of what he's explaining to you. But eventually he leads you back out. And when you walk out of the basin there, you can hear Yanni outside. 187, 188, 189, and you realize that you spent about 8 times as much time in that demiplane as has passed outside of it.
And if I could, really quick, I would like to make an attempt at Largo noises for when he was looking at everything. What do you think? We're practicing a little.
No, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. But and Aelorn makes sure to point that out, just in case Largo doesn't catch on immediately. That while you're in there, time passes much more slowly. So if there's something that you need urgently to create, you'll be able to do so much more quickly than if you try to create it out here.
Yeah.
I understand that this situation, time may be of the essence. That said, do not rush in where angels fear to tread.
It's time to become Thor.
That's exactly what he's saying. Okay. All right. That's good to know. I don't know you guys. I think that might be a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like our next move is go.
Yeah.
Or discuss our plan to go with the other
Let's
guys.
say the big badass wizard just told us not to rush in. All right, let's rush in.
I mean, he's also saying, you know, that at this point there's so little as far as options for you to collect information. Firsthand experience is pretty much all you have at the moment, and
Yeah.
it might be the most dangerous option to take, but it's kind of all you've got.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I think it's awesome that he's opened up all these, crafting tables to us. But, we're pretty geared up, right? I mean, I feel like we are. I don't know if there's any cheats. I have a ring slot, but I mean, I feel like everything else I got some good shape. Like,
I imagine if we survive our first encounter with this thing of just observing it, we will realize that there's a lot of shit we might need to do to prepare for it.
so we need to go in, try not to die, get out, and then prepare to go in and actually fight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And I don't even know if it would be fighting it. I think this is going to be complicated.
What level's Alorn?
I think you said once he's like 15 or 16.
I mean, you guys don't know, but at this moment he is actually lower level than you.
Oh, cool.
Did all of his little rooms and demi-planes, is that why he has a Law and Order cop on him at all times? No? Okay.
You know that the merit inevitable is for people who exceed their lifespan.
Oh, right.
Are we?
So is that a time cop?
Yeah, time cop.
Time cop.
The biggest offenders are people who like wish for immortality or liches.
So why don't they just kill him? Like, why is that the weird thing that this one is just hanging out near him?
That's pretty fucking weird.
Yeah.
This is what they do. They make Alorn become a time cop. Boom. I should write 80s action movies.
Yeah, it's just Loki.
I was just gonna say, I imagine a Marvel situation where we start, get one of these going, and then all our friends show up. And yeah, we don't have a lot of friends, but we got a blue dragon.
Hey. We have a dire badger, okay,
Yeah.
that we brought back to life. That's going to come.
Freshly resurrected.
Yeah, that Dire Badger in there, cool. That Dire Badger's a better friend than Dakuto Demiro right now.
We really only have like 4 friends.
I can't wait to call